Amanda, phenomenal to be with you. Great to connect, and really appreciate the opportunity to dive into some topics today that are near and dear to both our hearts. I know you do a lot of work around time management, and I'm a leader of a team. You lead an organization. From a productivity standpoint, it's something that we're always working toward, but I think sometimes as leaders, we struggle with the how. How do we truly drive productivity with our teams, and why do we do it? So would love to get your thoughts on that, and I'll turn it to you.
Yeah, well, Gallup reports that 75% of staff as of right now are unengaged in their day-to-day work, which is just terrifying, right? It costs hundreds of billions of dollars to organizations across the globe because of lack of productivity. And one of the things that actually deters us most is notifications that pop up on our phones, on our laptop screen, right? They did a research study that showed that every time your attention gets deterred by, let's say, a notification, you look at that and you go back to what you were focused on, your brain capacity drops down to as if you were the equivalent of having only 4 hours of sleep. And it takes 45 minutes to get back into that place of focus. When was the last time where you knew you and your staff were taking 45 minutes to turn off everything and just focus? It's rare today. So there's so much that we need to know. My father had first created the 6 steps to time management secrets of billionaires that increases your productivity up to 500%. And he did this actually working for Charlie Munger, who, if you don't know, it's a co-chairman of Berkshire Hathaway with Warren Buffett. So he was able to double the sales of 9 different divisions for Charlie, all within 12 to 15 months, and several doubled multiple years consecutively. So he had an organization that every moment at the office was spent, hey, got a minute? And these got a minute meetings would just break out, right? Hey, you got a minute? Hey, you got a minute? And he found himself having to work at home during the weekends. So he came up with this strategy on these 6 steps. And because watching billionaire Charlie Munger manage his time, and he adapted it for that. You ready for those 6 steps?
Fire away. I love your passion around this.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? So many people come for the shiny object of, yeah, I need this for sales. Yeah, I need this for marketing. And yet, majority of us, right, billionaires are making billions as opposed to what anybody else below that is making. And they have the same 24 hours in a day. It's just a matter of how they're maximizing it, right? They're working smarter. So step number 1, touch it once. How many times do you go to an email, you read it and you go, oh, okay, I should reply back to that. I'll do that at some point. And then you reread it and reread it. It's the equivalent of having a full week's vacation at the end of the year. You could have saved a week's vacation worth of time if you had read it once. And if you don't know a response, you reply, hey, this is a long thing. I need to think about this. Let's discuss this in our weekly meeting. Or you put it into a folder of this is what I'm going to do later on, right? So taking action. So touch it once is number 1. And for everybody that's listening, make sure you're writing these down, right? Because you want to make sure that you have these. I guarantee you it will only take you 15 minutes in the morning, and that will be one of the most productive days you have ever had. I hear it all day, every day. It happens all the time. People go, oh my God, if only I did this every day. So that's the hard part, is the pig-headed discipline and determination. If you have that, these steps are easy. So step number 2, list off 6 to-dos. So it's not 20 to-dos. It's not, oh, I feel so much better because I keep checking off the list. It's just the top 6. Then number 3, how much time will each one of those steps take? So it'll take me 15 minutes. It'll take me 5 minutes. It'll take me an hour. It'll take me 30 minutes. And then you want to start prioritizing what's most important. Because then step number 5 is actually putting it into your schedule. So let's say from 8 until 8:30, you say, okay, I have a client contract that I need to send out, so I'm going to make that client contract. From 8:30 until 9, I'm going to reply to the emails that these 3 clients need to hear from me. From 9 to 10, I have a meeting with my advisory board. You block it into chunks in your schedule. And the key part is that you become proactive throughout your day as opposed to being reactive all day long. So once you're proactive, then you schedule in times. Okay, I'm going to leave an hour twice a day for reactive activities. That could be checking your email. That could be checking Slack or Trello, or, Microsoft has a chat feature, doesn't it?
Yep.
Teams, yeah. So you leave that hour for Teams, or if you're doing social selling, right, you're going on to your social media and you're replying and you're commenting and you're watching and you're engaging with your prospects. So there's allocated time to be reactive, as opposed to all day long you're being reactive. You're looking at your phone, you're replying to something, and then you're missing that concentration that you need to be more proactive. So that's step number 5. And then the final step is, will it hurt me to throw this away? Because I have a printer company just recently, 65% of papers that are printed the same day get thrown away in the bin. It's kind of crazy. That's kind of funny. But also we're hoarders a lot of the time, and we just collect things that are unnecessary. So the last step in the time management secrets of millionaires is, will it hurt me to throw this away?
These are all great principles, not only that I've probably applied during my recent plan to move, because I realize I'm the same way. I collect so much stuff, and we've been minimalists over the last few weeks because we're planning to move, and I don't need 90% of the stuff that I have collected. Don't tell my wife I said that. But I love your passion around this, Amanda, specifically the proactive versus reactive mindset, because I think that's where a lot of us, our effectiveness is minimalized when we are sucked into the minutia that often we allow ourselves to be sucked into. That's the key element. We allow ourselves to be sucked into this, and we say, oh, I've got a fire I've got to put out. I've got this and that. And frankly, that's where I love how you even talked about intentionally scheduling that time for that reactive work. Because I'm a big believer in daily non-negotiables. I go in every morning and I plan out, okay, these are the 5, and in your case, 6 things that I absolutely have to get done today. And I will focus on those elements right out of the gate as far as how can I space out my day to get these 5 things accomplished. The other element too that I really make sure that I focus on is vigilance in scheduling. I like how you called out scheduling intentionally things that have to get done in the course of the day, leaving yourself time to do some of the reactive elements. But I'll even look at my schedule and ask myself, is this something that is aligned to my non-negotiables? Is it something that I have to do today? I found when I first started out in selling and in leadership, I was trying to please everyone. I was trying to jump on every call I could that somebody invited me to or asked me to or made a case that I needed to be on. And frankly, over time, you have to develop a discipline around that to realize, okay, this is something that I could do next week. And if I need to do it next week and I have 5 things that are super big priorities that are going to take up the preponderance of my day, I need to get those non-negotiables done, and I need to move this meeting to next week and do that without shame, without guilt, because you've got to have vigilance in managing your time. You've got to be, really plugged in with your non-negotiables. And don't get me wrong, fires are going to pop up. But if you take that proactive approach and you knock out the things you have to do, you're going to be a lot more able to address the things as they come up. Just as you highlighted. I love the stat that you said around notifications. I've tried to get better as far as managing my own notifications, but the equivalent of 4 hours of sleep and that ability, don't get me wrong, some days I get 4 or 5, but I know exactly what you mean by that, and as far as how easily you can get pulled in to those types of distractions. So thank you so much for pointing that out.
I love that. And it shows that you are an overachiever, right? That you plan out your day the way you do and you prioritize, because so many people get lost in the clutter, right? They're always busy. They're busy doing all these things. Or even they'll put into their schedule, okay, these are all the things I need to do. And then it'll set an expectation, because if you have it down to every 15 minutes I have something planned, then at the end of your day, you already see, oh, I can't do the 2 biggest things that I needed to get done. That happens so often for executives, for salespeople, right? That it's great that you have that intrinsically in you, but a lot of people need those steps to remember and to actually proactively do that. When I first started doing this exercise for the first few months, I would perpetually I would find that I would have to redo my schedule every time, because I would put the hardest things at the end, and then I'd be like, okay, wait, but realistically, I won't have the brain power for that. I need to move that up to the first of the day, right? The first thing I need to do. And then you become smarter and you realize, okay, when I take a 15-minute walk, just a breather outside, and I walk around the block, that's so nice. I'm going to put that into my schedule, right? I'm going to put in working out, right? So these things start to become, you have more time to have more balance in your life as well. And then you're more productive, right? So it's good.
Just talking to you, I already can think of some additional things that I need to take into consideration as I make my daily schedule, but I'm here to learn too. So I appreciate you tackling that element.